Welcome to the Off the Road Again podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
I'm Curt.
And this is our podcast about anything and everything off-road. I've said it a lot recently. We haven't talked about rally cars in a long time. We need to bring that back.
We need more rally cars.
Yeah. I did get a marketing email from Rally Ready today, but those come from Texas Dave. And I was like, oh, Dave emailed me. And I was like, shit, no, that's just the marketing email. Damn it.
It's just taunting you, trying to get you to come to Texas to drive fast shit and dirt.
And it's warm down there. As always, we are socially distanced before it was mandated. I'm still in the Midwest. Ross is in the Northeast, and Curt's on the West Coast. So for him, it's still early. So
and warm, right?
Ish, yeah, warm-ish.
By LA
everything
standards,
is relative.
Yeah, it's only 60 out there today. Like that's kind of cold, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my hoodie on right now.
So one of our writers for
22
Hooniverse,
here.
Yeah, one of our writers for Hooniverse lives in Boston, and he makes fun of he calls them massholes that wear like flip flops and pants all the time. And over the weekend, I think the high was like 27 or less, and I caught myself in flip flops and pants outside running an errand. And I was like, should take a picture and text this to Camille. He'll appreciate that.
You shouldn't, because you'll never live that down.
Yeah,
ever.
and I put it on the record for the podcast. Good news is Camille doesn't listen to the podcast, so
definitely not. He has a real job and a family. He definitely doesn't listen.
Yeah. Hey, don't make fun of those with real jobs. There is actual news today. Did you see it, or am I
didn't. No, you're breaking the news to me as we go.
So the Ford walked away with 2 of the Vehicle of the Year awards from, and I can't even remember. It's not NAIS, but it's like North American Automaker. God, what is it?
Some guild of people who nominate vehicles and
correct. It just came out today, and of course I prepped. So the North American Truck of the Year is the F-150. The North American Utility of the Year is the Mach-E.
That's an interesting development.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because both of them are theoretically groundbreaking in their own class. Well, maybe not. I guess the Mach-E isn't really groundbreaking. It's just kind of the first electric offering from a mainstream automaker that, also tries to channel their brand history.
Yeah.
I get it.
I still think we could have called it the Fusion and just moved on.
Oh my God. Fusion, Lightning. There were so many good names.
So many electrical themed names. Just redo it as the Focus. Who cares? Like, just Mach-E.
Mache.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great.
So yeah, but the brand new F-150 won Truck of the Year for them. I'm assuming it's because hybrid powertrain.
Probably. Also, there weren't any other huge reinvigorations of the other trucks this year.
We're just going to ignore the T-Rex.
That's not really groundbreaking or like mass market.
It breaks the ground when it lands.
Yeah, right. Like 6,500 pounds or whatever it is. No,
hey,
but
this is an overland theme. 6,500 is light.
Yeah, right. 6,500.
I got Curt to laugh on that one.
Yeah, that was good.
I'd love to strip all the excess shit off of T-Rex and see actually what it's capable of. Like not with, all the bars and bumpers and nonsense. 700 pounds of heated and cooled seats.
Curt, I posed an odd question to our guest last week, and I don't think I actually recorded when I asked him the question. If you had a choice between Raptor, T-Rex, Power Wagon, and I guess I threw in the Chevy Trail Boss because GM doesn't have an off-road themed truck, what do you pick?
Oof.
It's a
I'll
weird
go with Power Wagon.
See,
Power Wagon.
Yeah,
that's
it's
the way I
sleeper
lean
of that.
too.
Yeah.
If they're
there's
gonna
so
be
much.
that, no, you go.
there's just so much history behind that name, right?
Yep.
The Power Wagon. Like, it's just like, to me, it like beckons images of, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's just like that kind of nostalgia there for some of like the really old, tough pickups.
And then there's those guys out in, God, are they in Wyoming or Montana they're redoing them now?
Oh yeah, they're putting the old Power Wagon bodies on the new Power Wagon platforms.
Well, I don't know if it's a quite like one-to-one thing like that, but like
it's something to that effect, though.
Oh my gosh, I want large images only, and every one I pull up is like 300.
You don't want 300 by 240 or whatever.
Well, they're 9K, but it's like minimizing it down for me. Like, what is happening here? Like, I don't even.
Yeah, I know the company you're talking about though, and it's pretty cool. No, the Power Wagon though is like the one that, aside from how enormous it is, the one that we could probably utilize to the most of its capabilities, because like Raptor or T-Rex, I mean, Curtis, you have much more opportunity to go fast on dirt out west, but even so, most of the stuff we're doing off-road is going slow to get places, not just flooring it and, hoping for the best.
Totally.
Which is fun.
Right. Yeah, it's all fun, right?
Yeah.
But factory lockers, factory winch, solid front axle.
Legacy.
Imagine if they made a Power Wagon that was like shrunk down, like I guess they kind of do, and it's the Rubicon Gladiator.
Yeah, fair.
Pretty much. Answering my own question there.
Finally found the company.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah.
Legacy Classic Trucks. That's what it is.
That's amazing.
Free
so
plug
great
for those guys.
I'll take one of those, please. Thank you.
You need to show up with much, much more money.
It's probably about as much as the house that I'm looking at. Let's be real.
You're not far off. The one photo you were just looking at was $350.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No further comment.
Oh, they've updated their website because now you can basically, it's like a regular auto manufacturer. You can build your own. Like they have color options. Here, I gotta reshare my screen with you guys. Your color choices, engine choices.
Oh my God. There goes my night.
Choices, transfer case choices,
dude.
dips. Like this is great.
I could buy 10 Tacomas. Tacomas for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For one.
I'm not saying it's not cool. It's just a lot of money.
It's an icon style build. It's you have money that you don't care about what the number comes to.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. All right, hold on. I'm bringing it back. There's a forward control snowblower pictured here. Do you see this thing? Can I get that?
Oh my God.
So I have a weird obsession with forward control vehicles. I think they're amazing. The Jeeps especially, but I like the Fusos a lot too. Anyway, we're so far off topic. The Ford one,
at least, yeah.
North American Truck of the Year. I think it's because they're going to put a hybrid powertrain in it. And I mean, eventually we're going full EV in it, but there's not a hybrid Silverado out there. Like
there used to be like 10 years ago.
Yeah, but wasn't it like
it was horrible?
More of a marketing practice than actual like, hey, we've improved your gas mileage.
It didn't get any better gas mileage because there was so much extra weight.
Because the Tahoe, they also did like a Tahoe and
an Escalade.
Yeah,
horrible. All terrible. Horrible. They spent more money on the stickers than they did on like the R&D.
The one thing I saw today, and we're talking Camille a lot this episode for whatever reason. He had an interaction because I saw someone compare like a KC-135 plane refueling an SR-71, and then next to it they had their Mach-E plugged into the back of their F-150 because it has all those electrical options. And Camille did a deep dive on trying to find out if it was actually possible to charge your Mach-E off the F-150. Spoiler alert, it's not. But like Ford marketing also hasn't come out and been like, They're kind of like letting the allure of it live, and it's no way they can. Like the math wasn't right. Like the number of amps you needed out of the truck was like full capacity, and it's the software wouldn't let it go full capacity.
Just shuts it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you also theoretically have to gas up the truck to do that. So.
Right. You got to fuel the truck to run the truck to power the electricity that's going into the Mach-E.
Ultimately, it's all coming from somewhere.
Exactly. Not quite ideal. So.
Chris is frozen. My nightly screenshot.
It happened earlier and you missed it.
Too slow.
To bring Curt up to speed there, you guys, I freeze for you guys, but nobody who's listening or viewing this freezes because I'm the one recording. So for me, when I freeze, you guys are still there the whole time. So just keep going. I'll come back eventually. So, but the listeners and viewers will see everything still. And in fact, for the viewers, you two freeze and I stay in motion.
Yeah.
Personal update. I need to get freaking tires figured out so bad. I'm tired of hearing them.
Tired?
I'm literally tired of the crappy tires on the back. I need to get that straightened out. So BFG, if you're listening, please return my email.
Tires are always fun.
Tires.
It's like the most exciting thing you can do on a truck.
Well, it's once you get one and you know, like it's like their maintenance wise, like it's all solid. It's the easiest upgrade to doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like put a set of sweet all-terrains on it. And I think last show we listed like 7 options. Like you can go with the Falcons, you can go with the Generals, you can go with the Toyos, you can go with the BFGs, you can go with the Coopers, you can go with, I'm forgetting one, you can go with the Nittos, you can go with the Maxes.
Yeah.
I said General, I did say that for sure. But like almost all of them are really good tires now. Like I feel like
you can't buy a bad tire, just like quote unquote, you can't buy a bad car. Like they're all good.
As long as you're not buying some like knockoff made somewhere else, I will support your statement.
Like Triangle.
Yeah.
Remember that Chinese company was called Triangle Tires?
They have crazy names. Like the only time I've been to SEMA and I went into like the wheel and tire hall, and then you go to the back corner where everything is made somewhere else. And what's that odd smell? Oh, it's all of these tires that are not made anywhere near here.
It's not good.
Yeah. They were for like school bus companies too. I was like, are we sure we want to put kids in this? Like
terrifying.
That and the models that every time the song would change, you'd see them come awake again. Like it was a sad show. Like the wheel hall always has girls around, and every time the song would change, you'd be like, "Oh, new song!" Like it would. Yeah,
that's horrible. Yeah. Time to move on with
Please.
the
anyway,
world.
I need to get out and not be around the metropolitan area for a little bit, and so I need to get some tires squared away pretty quick because I can't do it.
Not
what
making
I have
it
right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your update?
I jokingly wrote captain's log about
like
my never-ending head unit install. I had good progress middle week of last week. The problem is, and I keep saying, I get like 30 minutes to work on it during lunch, and then I don't work on it again until lunch the next day. So it's always kind of playing like 5 minutes of catch up and remembering where stuff went. So since our last show, I have had 0 opportunities to work on it.
Will you be a homeowner before you have a new head unit installed?
No, because I'm going to work on it every day the rest of the week during lunch. And that I have to get it. Like there's parts of the truck filling the entire back of the truck. I can't use it. Like Curtis, just to catch up. It's a 4Runner. There's parts littered all through the back of it. And it's like the back seats are folded down. There's just pieces of like side panels everywhere. So someday.
You do the thing where you have a piece of cardboard and you put your bolts and nuts on the cardboard and label exactly what they go to?
No.
No.
Everything from the dashboard sitting in the cup holder, and everything from the trunk panel and like the side panels are sitting in these little cubbies in the back. So it's going to be a fun few minutes of like, oh, does this go here? Huh. And if it doesn't, how far do I get before I realize it's in the wrong spot?
I also think there's
some people might say labeling things is good, but
yeah, they're all basically just like 10 millimeter.
That is true bolts. For a 4Runner. Like there's not a lot of different sizes.
I could probably swap them all out for the opposite end of the vehicle and it would be fine.
I also think there's a screw in the trunk that I've had there for like 2 years, like in one of those bins in the back. There was like a nut or something.
The trunk,
like in those bins on the side of the rear.
Those weird ones with the little clips that pop open.
Yeah, exactly. That I never ever used ever. But I swear that there was a loose screw in one of those when I sent it to you. There was like
a random LED bulb or something in there.
Yeah, those are in there too.
Really seem to come or go to anything. But yeah, other than that, no updates. The rear wiper motor doesn't work, so I took the arm off because it was just flopping around. And it turns out a remanufactured part is more expensive than just a replacement part. So
that's weird.
I'm going to eventually do that.
Like, what's up, AutoZone?
Other than that, Rock Auto.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than that, pretty much. Yeah. I've been looking at headers and exhausts, but that's probably a summer project when it's not freezing. Dude, it's got that crazy exhaust tick because the manifolds are like notoriously bad on those things, on the 4.7s. So eventually that's a project for another time.
Curtis, for your quick update, he bought my 4Runner, which is why I have
what year is this?
It's an 05.
So
it's actually my second 05, but first with a V8.
First from the US too.
God.
First from the first 4th gen from the US. I had the 5th gen briefly.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like every time I get a small thing done on it, I'm already like looking at what I'm going to do and change and fix next. So, projects are projects.
Right.
It makes you and I the polar opposite of, I'm like, I just need a set of tires and I'm done for a long time. And you're like, well, I need to do a head unit and then headers.
Yeah. Speaking of tires, I had a lead on a set of tires down in like somewhere in Jersey. So I was going to go pick them up last Saturday. And I sent the guy a message on, Wednesday. He agreed to everything. I messaged him on Friday and was like, hey, I'm going to be down there tomorrow around noon or whatever, just making sure we're all set. And he's like, oh, sorry, somebody's coming to pick them up tonight. It's like, what? Like, I thought we had agreed on everything. His response was, first come, first serve, too bad. And that was it. I was like, oh, okay.
So,
all right. Thanks anyway.
Putting that karma out in the world there. Okay, bud.
Right.
Oh, man.
I was like, where did that even come from? So anyways, that's the end of my updates. I got nothing else. Let's talk about more fun stuff than my lack of progress.
So for the listener and viewer, Curt is the owner of GTFOverland, which if you haven't seen their stuff on Instagram yet, it looks like the best account ever because it's literally GTFOverland. So GTFO, I'll probably slip a get the fuck out in here eventually just because it happens. So
absolutely,
because we all want to right now.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody's literally trying to get the fuck out right now. There's nowhere to go, but
right. Yeah,
so,
and
how
regarding that, the get the fuck out, the name actually came. So leading up to me opening the shop, I'd been bartending for about 10 years, and that term of get the fuck out just in my head every night dozens of times while I was bartending. Right.
Oh yeah.
And so I just took that and named my Instagram account that years ago or whatever, just thinking taking it from the bar, and it just kind of worked. It worked with the overland thing. And we could play and say it's get the family out if somebody's particularly religious or whatever. But yeah, that's literally how the name came about, was through the bar.
So going into it, when you were bartending, I'm guessing you were already pretty deep into overlanding and off-roading. So what got you into it? Like where's your personal origin 4x4 story?
So I had started when I moved to LA, actually. I was also working as a handyman, got hired by a fella who was into this world. And I was doing a lot of handyman work for him. His name's Jay. And he taught me a ton about electrical systems, specifically auxiliary battery systems and that. And I would work on, his rigs, and then just applied it to my own pickup. And like, I'd never even heard the term overland before, before I met him. And then, took that to working on boats, and then got hired by a couple different camper van manufacturers, just doing electrical stuff and, designing their systems, because it's, the electrical side is a mystery to a lot of folks, and still to me. I've been doing
my own research lately. I totally understand that.
Yeah. Most people just assume it works and that's it. They don't really know or think about how anything happens behind the scenes.
Well, I plugged it in.
Exactly.
Why is it working? Yeah.
Have you checked the breaker? What about the fuse? What's a fuse?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Yeah. And so, the jump into, the overland world, which growing up to me in Wyoming was just camping,
it's literally just car camping.
It's camping. And, but obviously there's, language has a lot to do with branding and with movements and with industry. Right. And so, the more and more I worked in this, in the van industry and saw the, the similarities, it's almost like I was forced into opening the shop, not necessarily like, this was my dream coming to California, was opening a shop. It was just the demand was there, and, having a particular skill set of being able to, wire
very specific set of skills.
Very specific set of skills. Yeah, exactly. And so it was almost like the shop was forced on me, not necessarily. Because I'll be honest, like with you guys, I think cars are cool. I think trucks are cool, but like, I'm not a truck guy. Like, if you were to point at a truck and be like, what size tires are though? I'd be like, oh, they're squishy,
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm like, that one's too thin. That needs to be a fatter tire.
Right. Yeah. Do you have something squishier that we could put on here? That's literally like where I come from. Like, I guess more from the get out and do stuff, perspective, not necessarily because I'm a truck geek or a car geek at all.
It's right. Fair. Yeah.
I was thinking about it before this, and I was thinking about like, imagine when the train was invented and there was all these guys that were like super geeked out about trains because it was going to change the world, and it did, right? It completely changed transportation. But then there was some guy that was like, I could sit in an empty car and stare at the landscape for 12 hours straight. Like, I would have been that guy,
right?
Not giving a care about the train or the fact that it's, a wonder of industry. I just wanted to sit in that train car and stare at landscape.
What it enables you to do and see, not necessarily how it goes about doing it.
Totally. That's it.
I get that.
Which, that's a lot of what we preach on here, actually. Is like, don't go spend tens of thousands of dollars. Just get something that'll work and go.
Totally.
And for the off-road world and the overlanding world, there's those huge extremes where on one side you have the guy who's like, all he can talk about is like, gear ratios and what tires and what differentials. Then you have the people on the very far other side who have like, a Jeep and put a set of decent tires on it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. I don't need to do anything else. It's perfect the way it is. And then the middle is like the happy Venn diagram overlap,
Totally.
Like you care enough to care, but you're not just like boasting about,
Right.
every single modification you've ever made.
Right. Or caring enough to at least be safe and do it right, and
Mhm.
not cause yourself damage
Or others. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, how many times have you guys gone somewhere and gotten to this like far away place and then rolled up and somebody has a Civic there? And you're like, how did that, like, how did you get here? But they got there, right?
Sure.
Exactly.
And like, we were in Baja a few years ago, and the roads just, wash out all the time. And it was after a particular rainstorm, and there's water coming across the road pretty quick. And so I pull up and I stop and I kind of wait out just to see, because you don't know what's in there, right?
Exactly.
And I drive an old pickup, an 88 Toyota pickup. And so I put it in 4-wheel drive and I'm turning the lockers, and this dude in a Civic going about 50 just pins it past us, and I'm standing there like, oh, I hope my truck, my lift truck can go through this. And he's just like, whatever. Like,
he skipped across the top.
Yeah. He skipped his Civic like a rock across the top.
Did he make it?
Totally.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't even look back. It was just, it was one of those experiences where you're like, oh, okay, I get it. I don't need to be this careful right now.
Sweet.
That's pretty funny.
So you guys have opened a store now.
Correct.
How did that idea come to be? Like, and this is just literally pure curiosity, because my background is I've been a teacher before and I've worked in marketing for quite a while now. I can't imagine being like, you know what, I'm going to open a business. I don't process that. Did you guys both freeze? Oh, you guys froze hard. Where did my question stop? Because you both froze really hard when I got to the end of my question, and I was like, "Oh, was that a terrible question?"
You pretty much have to repeat the whole question.
Okay, I'm kind of glad the internet froze. I was like, I think I just offended Curtis. Like,
you have an opportunity to change the question now, though.
I don't know. I still maintain I like the idea behind. Anyway, my background is as a teacher, and I work in marketing. Where does opening up a brick and mortar, how does that come to fruition for you?
Prior to bartending, I spent, I don't know, more than a decade in physical retail in the outdoor sport, in bicycle shops.
Okay.
So probably literally the only job I'd had from 16 up until, late 20s was in a bicycle shop. So working in a retail environment is very comfortable to me, but also, just seeing how this industry is growing in a way that there's so many people that want to learn and touch and see and feel. Like it seems super necessary to have a space where people could come in and actually just ask questions in person, and see what a fridge looks like, an Overland fridge looks like in person, because the pictures aren't doing it justice online, and from the get-go, I knew that, just to be honest, we don't do the majority of our sales in person still, but the people that do come in are super gracious, super loyal followers now. There's GTFO's got, a decent fan club of people that will drive in and, just say hi. And I think that this being such it is a lot about community, right? And it is about giving somebody a spot to, and obviously COVID has shit all over the idea of gatherings, but,
Sure.
But still, it's not going to be forever. And, from the day we opened our doors, we had people showing up just excited about it. So it was obviously just a good idea to have a place where somebody could come see this stuff, and it's all new. Yeah. I shouldn't say it's all new, but, every day I talk to somebody that's like, oh my gosh, you could put a fridge in your car. This is crazy. So it's new to them.
Right.
Some do come with them.
Yeah.
In the glove box. You can get it from the factory. Not as functional or,
right.
energy efficient, but
Totally. Yeah, and I think that having a retail shop too, I mean, from a brand standpoint, like it lends itself to getting, media. We can take pics. We've got a constant flow of vehicles coming through. Like right now, I'm staring at a 170 4x4 Sprinter that's on the other side of my screen. Yeah, and then earlier today, one of the coolest Tacomas I've ever seen rolled out the door after I put a rack, a front and a roof rack on it. So yeah, I mean, definitely having the shop like this allows us to do a lot of things in house where typically, one might be having to travel to get content. I just have to open the door and somebody's going to roll in with a
literally,
whatever. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, I'm looking at your building on Google Street View, and there's a pretty rad looking like off-road camper type thing going on there. It says mobile traveler. I don't know what it is. There's bikes on the back, but
I wonder whose that is.
I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff parked outside.
Ross is making me Google furiously over here. Thanks, Ross.
Very questionable box van looking truck. But
which side of the building are you on?
We're on the Gladys Avenue side.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see this. That's a Dodge.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, viewer. I apologize. I know it's a Dodge because when you come to the front of the truck,
it says Dodge.
It says Dodge. Right? Oh, come on. Normally it'll let you zoom in, but no, that's.
Is that just parked?
Yeah, and that was taken before we were even in the space. It looks like because our sign isn't even up in that picture.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
dude, that's a solid RV,
right?
Nothing else is cool there in Street View though.
No, down the other way there was. But so what's in your personal garage at the moment?
The 1988 Toyota pickup that I spent a few years, probably 2 years. So that was in the girlfriend's garage for, I don't know, I'm sorry, that was in the girlfriend's parents' barn. It was a true barn find.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Red one?
No, it's a silver and black one.
Damn it. All right, I got to go back to scrolling through
Nice
Instagram.
Nice almost. There's a pic on Instagram of it on a sand dune in Baja with the front runner rooftop tent on top of it.
Got it.
Yeah, so they had that. Her parents had that, and yep, there you go. In their barn for a long time. They were going to get rid of it. They sent her a pic saying, "Hey, do you want this?" We're like, "Oh, hell yeah."
We'll be right over.
Definitely.
Right. So flew out. We were going to drive it back, but it had the typical timing chain disaster on those 22 REs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so decided to just put it on a truck and ship it out. And then that just turned into, the project. And really that's it. I mean, the shop has a van, but that's, that pickup is almost the extent of, or it is the extent of our.
It's like your unofficial mascot.
No, it is. And the more I think about, like, once in a while I think about selling it because something with, I don't know, say like air conditioning would be kind of cool. But
it doesn't have AC and you went to Baja? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's hot. But then I think about like, okay, so that truck is a 1988. So it's inching close to 40 years, So when that truck's 50 years old, that's going to be like, a gem, right? To have that in a 50-year-old truck in a retail shop, it's going to look like history at that point. And we're really not that far away from that point, and it still runs. I mean, those things will run forever slowly,
Slowly. Yeah.
Yep.
They're good trucks.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's
in the Northeast, at least, you almost never see them.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate keeping it alive out West because here it would just be rust and more rust.
What's the red Range Rover that was in the background of the last pick? What's the story with that
I was
truck?
wondering that too.
Yeah. So that was a build I did for a fella named Jim that he just kind of, he didn't give me complete creative liberty. He actually brought that cedar in from a fallen tree.
Okay.
He lives up in Idlewild, and just kind of let me, exercise the creative side of my brain to build out this cool little overland rig that he sleeps in the back, and it's got a little Bluetooth stereo system in it that I installed for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a long project because there's a lot of sanding. A lot of woodwork went into that thing.
It looks like it. How much weight did it add in the back?
I made the structure of it out of aluminum extrusion and then just skinned it all with the wood.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's not just like 3-inch thick like boards.
No. It was I bet total it added about 250 pounds with everything, and that's drawers, the auxiliary battery. Yeah. He didn't have to adjust the suspension for that.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine.
What's your favorite vehicle that you've worked on at the shop or done something to, or had it nearby and modified in some way?
My favorite vehicle, honestly, that Range Rover that you just showed, that Range Rover Classic, I think is definitely up there, especially because I didn't give those cars two thoughts before he brought it in. I knew of them, like, yeah, that's a cool car, but the more it sat here in the shop, the more I really started to like that truck.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim he told me, the owner of that truck told me a good joke about those, which is it's easy to open a Range Rover mechanic shop because you only need 2 customers.
Yeah.
Because it sat and it leaked power steering fluid the whole time it was here, and
that's how you know it has power steering fluid.
All right.
Yeah,
had the power steering fluid.
No, but I think that, I don't know, I have a soft spot for some of those classics. Of course I like, some of the new rigs out there. I think the new Gladiator is awesome. A lot of people disagree with me on that, but
they're taking off in the overland world, though.
I won't disagree with you as long as it has bigger tires.
Squishy tires.
On the stock wheels and tires, I think they look like a big muscly guy who skips leg day.
Yeah.
As soon as you throw some big meat on there, I like them more.
With the exception of the Rubicon. The Rubicon looks pretty good from the factory. The stock like sport one looks, it looks like, bro, why didn't you why haven't you been only doing arms?
Don't skip leg day.
Hey.
Of course, I can't get to a Gladiator picture fast enough.
That's okay. We all know what they look like.
Right. Yeah. And and again, that's coming from a person who, like, I don't know what engine's in it, honestly. I have no idea. Like, no, that looks cool.
If you wait long enough, you'll get a diesel.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe even a 392 something.
I was going to say, really wait long enough, you get a V8.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I think, I don't know, here's another thing. Yeah, they're cool. But I think that, whenever somebody comes in with a rig that is obviously beat up and used, like earlier you had showed a picture of that red, I think it's an 86 Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
That guy, Tyler, every weekend is going somewhere. So his rig is absolutely one of my favorites because his rig gets used more than just about anybody I know.
Function, not form. Yeah.
Totally.
Not pretty, but it
Yeah.
has the stories kind of thing.
Absolutely. And, he's out there walking the walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that truck is super cool because people are seeing it everywhere.
Right.
I think that's kind of, to me, that it's the old, what's your favorite car? And it's the one you own now, or what's the best car to own, the one you have.
Yeah.
At least favorite car is the one you own now.
That's like a boat.
Yes. Right. 100%.
Boats are definitely the same way.
Yep. Never owned a boat though, so take everybody's word for it. Probably never will.
There's some, especially living on the coast, there's something that's just amazing to me of people wanting to own something that they're going to store in literally the harshest environment the world has to offer. Like, I'm going to dip it in salt water 100% of the time.
Right. That looks like Jeff Glucker's Montero.
It is.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really funny.
It's got a Hooniverse stickers and 1552s on it. Come on, man.
Small screen. Oh yeah. Oh, that's really funny.
Here, Ross, I'll help you. Check out the plate. Like,
okay, it's Jeff. Yep. That's really funny.
I was scrolling. I found it.
So his isn't the favorite of the ones that have come through the shop.
Jeff's.
We'll tell him you said that.
No. I will say something really good about Jeff's. Like, there's something about that generation where it's like, it was like the first generation of vehicles where they really put thought into actual ergonomics of like,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is where the controls should be because that's a natural motion for your arm. Like, the first time I got in his truck to move it, I was just like, holy shit, this is just comfortable. You know, like, there's nothing weird. There's no like hidden, like, I don't have to stare at something forever to figure out what it does. It's just intuitive, right? And I think that, you know, that when you get into like late 80s, early 90s stuff where I don't know, it just seems like they thought more about that rather than just this particular aesthetic.
They got some of the fundamentals right that we take for granted now.
Right.
His truck also has the bouncy seat, which
Yes.
is supposed to be the best. He's very keen every time he comes on the show to remind us that it has the bouncy seat.
Well, I think it's because at the time I had the 94 Land Cruiser who was running out of padding in my seat, and I complain about my back all the time. And so he would just gloat about how he has the cushiest seat of all time and it bounces. Like, even in the Sequoia now, like when I'm driving around, I'm like, God damn, Jeff's seat would be great.
Yeah, with no airbags and taking all the airbags out of the Sequoia.
We don't have to bring logic into this. Stop it. Like,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We've never presented the show as truth and facts.
Nope.
I mean, it's
we
like
don't claim
opinion and some facts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I did find a big one though, Russ. I
God.
found a tiger.
Whoa.
I like tigers.
That's, I don't know, one of about 5 that I've worked on now.
Shit.
It's
They're
like,
so big.
they're so big.
My God. Extended cab long bed is like the longest Sierra you can get.
Well, and this is,
And that's even longer.
yeah, there's no bed. Like, that's an RV on
Yeah.
the back of a pickup.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
they're
cool.
RV. Yeah.
Is that like, does that have a hookup for power and everything, or is it self-contained?
Yeah, yes on both. So that particular one
Fair.
actually has a generator in the back of it as well. Most of these did or do have a generator, but then it also has shore power and, you know, full 110 volt if you plug in. There's an air conditioning unit on top of that one. This fella needed another fridge. He actually wanted a separate fridge just for his beer.
Hell yeah, this guy rules.
Yeah, but he put it right behind him. Like,
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
well,
not the best place.
He can't open it from the
It's-
driver's seat.
It's so I can
it's a
reach.
little-
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
I took my joke. So is that what, like, with something like that, can you drive it on like normal roads? I mean, in the Northeast, we have parkways, you know, and you can't drive like a heavy truck on there, you know, nothing with commercial plates. Can you drive that like in a normal truck
Yeah.
setting or like
Totally.
pickup
It's-
setting? That's
Yeah.
it's still like a regular passenger.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Like, it's
Oh,
the
that's
black
so
plate on the
cool.
front of it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. It's the same footprint, you know, as the Chevy. It's just taller and, you know, a little bit more bloated.
Looks inflated, like the air compressor got plugged in and just got pumped.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
oh my gosh. You guys had a Prado?
Did we?
I don't know. There's a green one on your Instagram. I'm sorry. I'm just browsing Instagram now.
Yeah. No, Yeah, so that was I took that pick when I was actually working out of a camper van manufacturer up in Silver Lake. And yeah, this fella came by. I believe I put a drawer system in the back of that for him. Yep, there you
Nice.
Man,
go.
those are
That's
so cool.
That's
That
one I
is
would
really
love to
cool.
have. For
Yeah,
sure.
I'm on board with like the 70 series stuff. Like
Yeah.
we were told about a website a couple weeks ago that has not helped me much. Because it's somewhere over in a European market that somehow has a lot of access to left-hand drive old enough 70 series. And they're amazing. I'll show the same one that I showed last time, but I actually need to check back in with them and see if they got their truck.
Right.
This one was in transit the last
Should
time we talked to
be.
these guys. Should be here by now.
Should be here.
Wow.
I just love how many different variations of brown can you get on one truck?
All of them.
It's all of the browns.
All of them.
It looks like it could also be a couch in the 1970s.
Yes.
Yep.
My dad was going through old photos the other day, and when I was a kid, we lived in Thailand for 2.5 years, and there's a picture of this couch that we shipped to Thailand in the late 80s and then shipped back to New Jersey when we moved back. And when you look, I have to find the picture again. I'm like, this is the ugliest couch I've ever seen. Why did you keep this thing?
What the hell?
It was cheaper to ship it than buy a new one. It was
wow. You can find a couch. Drive down the alley behind the shop. I guarantee you can find a couch.
Yeah, I don't know that they wanted to do that in Bangkok.
No.
I'll take one. I need a couch.
Like if there's unattended couches in Bangkok, like I'm pretty sure we leave them unattended. Like I don't. It was a cool town when I was a kid, but it's still a cool town. I guess I don't know. I've been back for forever.
Pretty blanket statement though. You don't want just a couch you find on the side of the road, unless if you're like totally desperate.
I've been there.
You like I picked up stuff.
Yeah, that was how the fraternity got a couple of couches.
Right?
Yeah, we've all.
I put furniture on a longboard and pushed it back to my house before.
Yeah. I got it.
Oh, so good. So, favorite off-road experience? Do you have one on in the list there, or is it like top 5?
No, I'll say favorite. Well, just about any time going to Baja. Like I think the Baja is just kind of for me, just the place that always makes me happy. One of you guys has lived in Utah before, right?
I have a buddy in Utah, I was just in southern Utah like in October.
There's a trail called the Burr Trail that goes from the town of Escalante down to the north side of Lake Powell. Okay. And I think it's one of my favorite drives, just because the geology is just insane. I have no idea what's going on with the rocks and stuff.
It's just cool to look at.
Yeah, they're just super cool. There's about a dozen switchbacks, and you drop, I don't know, 1,500 feet in about a mile. You know, so it's super steep. And then you end up at this lake where you can just hang out and watch bass jump out of it.
That's pretty cool.
You know, yeah.
I think I was so close to this.
Were you really?
You blew it.
Yeah, like we stayed in Kanab, so like I was close to everything really. Like, like I could have just run up. Like when I was at Bryce Canyon, I just had to keep going east.
Yeah. But I think for me, anytime there's dirt and then water, that's the best experience for me personally.
I think that's why Powell is like so attractive, because everything around it is desert. Like there's
100%.
There's nothing, no reason to be there. Like all of those kind of style of lakes are just
right. And it's kind of everything too. Like on the south side, you've got sand dunes, if that's your jam. You know, north side, if you want actual off-road and water crossings and such, you can get that from the north side of it, both on the the Utah or over on the Colorado side. That place is pretty magical for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty high up my list.
It's weird too. So I went with my dad, and it's weird to think about a place where there's nothing there really. Like there's there's no like metropolis that you're attracted to, but like I want to go back. Like it's
Right.
it's yeah, I like no one around.
Totally.
It's the best.
I just
And
need
it,
to
you
go
know,
with a little more capable vehicle next time.
especially when you, like, you know, where our shop is at. I mean, there's literally 6 million people within, you know, an hour drive of anywhere, right? And that's LA traffic hour.
Mhm. LAI.
You know, so anytime, like, or that's really what makes Baja so special, is like you hit a point, and then after that point, there's no more people. It's, you know, it's like driving off, you know, the end of the world.
Mhm.
That you hit the last town, and then you just know that there's no more people after that.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know, problems go away. You can actually start daydreaming again, you know.
Think about something other than society and all the
Totally.
problems with it.
Absolutely.
How okay, now I'm gonna get technical. How rocky was Burr Trail? Like is it like a forest road, or is it more like there's some big rocks in it?
It really depends on if it's rained recently.
Okay.
If there's not been rain recently, it's like a fire road,
Okay.
just steep.
Mhm.
If it's rained at any point, you know, within the last 2 weeks, I mean, there could be huge rocks. There could be, you know, a channel across the road.
Yeah. That was the weird thing at being out there and just like I'm on the road, I'm navigating to the thing that told me to go to, and I'm driving through the wash right now. Like it was just the road. Like that's what it was.
Totally. Yeah, and that trail
I like the different
probably,
colors.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it goes from, you're following a river for a bit before you get to the actual switchbacks. But I mean, it goes from green and trees to whatever these crazy rocks are that are, you know, however many million years old. And then it turns to red and then gray. And then you're looking across at the Escalante Staircase National Monument, you know, with its very unique colors. Yeah, the place is something else.
That's pretty amazing.
I can't wait to get back out there. It was we had some local intel to go like farther north, and then there were like good trails to go out of cities into just middle of nowhere, like just BLM land. Just like, hey, just go this way. It's more fun.
Yeah, that trail. I mean, if I'm gonna tell you, like, you know, my favorite, best experience, I'll tell you my worst also, which was we were on our way down that trail, and there's a couple of water crossings that 90% of the year they're completely dry. It doesn't look like water's ever existed there. But it had started to rain up north, which means that all that water was coming down. And we got to one of them, and I mean, it was obviously moving fast, but I couldn't quite remember how deep that crossing was.
Oh,
no.
So yeah, and just started kind of nosing the truck down into the water to test it, you know. And then yeah, exactly. And so got it about to where both front tires were in the water, and just felt the truck start swinging to the right, like it was moving way faster than I thought. And so slammed it in reverse and pinned it, but it's still pulling the front end of the truck sideways.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to back up an embankment and just
shitting your pants.
Yeah, somehow got it backed up and wiggled around. But then once it had started raining, we were trapped in between two water crossings. So we just had to camp there, you know, for a couple of nights just to wait for that water to pass so we could go back through. And yeah, so that's probably the most scary thing, you know, but I don't know if it's necessarily bad. You know, I think that saying, it doesn't have to be fun to be fun applies. You know, it might not be fun at the time, but afterwards you're like, yeah, I'd do that again.
Right. If you made it out okay, you're like,
yeah.
Huh.
That's the thing about a trip like that, is like when that occurs, I don't want to have an itinerary. Like,
right.
I want to be able to say, like, yeah, we're just going to chill here for a day or two. Like, we're not risking the rig. We're not risking us. Like,
Right.
we got food.
Yeah.
We'll just chill.
Everything's in check. Yeah.
That was,
Or reasonably so.
Yeah. And, worst case scenario, we camp out on this plateau, this high spot and watch it rain for a couple days.
Right. Until somebody shows up.
Yeah.
that's the story that Ross, that Lance told with his Earth Cruiser being,
Mhm.
he was soloing in the Sahara, Curtis. And
This was crazy. Yeah.
came down a ridge and just hit a level of silt, like Baja silt, but in the Sahara. And the truck, I'm sorry, just sank.
No.
And he was by himself, and like not completely, but like down far enough. And it took him over a day by himself to self-recover.
It's like him and his wife, right?
Him and his wife, but because they're in an Earth Cruiser, which literally has like bathroom facilities and all their food and a shower,
onboard water, and
he said like they even tried like a land anchor winch, but all of the stuff around them was so fine, like that didn't work. The max tracks just went shooting under. Like, they said they could see ripples as the max tracks went like under more, and eventually they used like upholstered mats out of the truck.
Yeah.
And we're like inch by inch to get it. I think he said it like took him over a day, but like they spent at least one night just stuck. Like,
and I'm sure it was super cool outside too, and comfortable temperatures to be.
Right. And and that's the glory of the desert of their trucks, is like it's all on board. Like he had AC, he had like like those rigs.
It's like, oh, it's time for a water break. Let's just go inside.
Right. Yeah. Like he had hundreds of gallons of extra water. Like they were like, yeah, if we're stuck here, like we're stuck here for a month, like we'll figure it out. Like,
so yeah, when you're out there digging and it's 95. Yeah. I'm one of those lazy people when it comes to airing down, because I always look at something and I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. I'm just gonna cruise down there, it'll be fine. Right. And got the truck stuck right on the shore on the Sea of Cortez in Baja as the tide was coming in.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oops.
That scenario where, tried the winch. There's a sagebrush or something that I tried, and it just
sudden panic.
Yeah. So, but just one of those stupid things where if I would have taken 10 minutes to air down, no problem. Right.
Yeah.
But
of course.
Yeah, we just pulled in. We're like, oh yay, we're here. Let's just buzz the beach real quick, and then we'll pin it back up and find camp. And no, I just drove down there and immediately sank it up to its axles, and had to sit there and dig furiously. And while I'm watching the water get closer and closer to us, and trying to think of plan C, which is walk away.
Right. Personal safety over vehicle safety, ultimately.
Ross, you gotta tell me, did I share this before?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we took a trip, and we were supposed to run a dry riverbed, and in the state of Kansas, all dry riverbeds are basically public roadways.
Okay.
It wasn't dry when we got there though, so we were like, hey, we'll just try it a little bit, and it would have been totally fine had the Jeep that's winching me out not kind of pushed me into some soft stuff as he missed the exit. But then he made the exit, and I got the soft stuff. So he was very nice and come back and winched me out. But
what tires? I can't see what tires he was on.
He's on like all seasons. Like he's not.
Oof.
Yeah. He had. So the guy doing the winching is a different guy, Brett. The guy, Steve, who's winching me is in the Jeep because he had to actually have it in reverse because the 5,500 pound Land Cruiser was winning in the mud. And I had two of my kids in the car with me, and they thought it was the greatest thing that ever happened in their entire lives. Like there's,
as they should. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I have the image anymore. Like we did a small water crossing, and somebody took a picture, and in the backseat, my fourth grader, who was probably like 6 at the time, is in the backseat with like both arms in the air, like, yeah, like,
of course
it's happening right now.
You don't know what is actually going on.
Exactly. I was just trying to make sure we didn't get stuck, and then we still got stuck. Yeah, that's how life works.
While you're sweating and thinking of 1,000 things to say that you can't and still be a good human. Yeah.
Oh, see, that's the glory of I'm married to a New York Italian woman, so we just say the things. Our kids do too, which around other families gets super awkward, but in our own house it's great. Like, you know how they feel.
Nothing to hide.
All right, so last question I have for you: what is one piece of gear that if you realized it wasn't in a truck, you're going back to get it?
Oof, the one piece that...
And it doesn't have to be one. If you have a list of, that's okay.
No, honestly, it would be the air compressor, because I mean, because I've got a portable one that I use around the shop, one of those ARB twins. Yep. But if I'm going to actually go somewhere, because I'm stupid and because I'm lazy, I know that's the thing that's probably going to, get me fixed.
Right.
Is that. But I also understand that that's, not everybody's going to own an air compressor, right?
They are surprisingly inexpensive, though, for the peace of mind you get from them.
Totally. I mean, forever I got by with just one of those little, like you buy them for like $20 at AutoZone, right? Just plug it into your cigarette lighter. It takes forever. It heats up to the point where you think it's going to melt your hand.
I've melted 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the one thing. Just given the mistakes I've made, I think that's it. You can get away without recovery boards once in a while. You've got floor mats. If you got a shovel, whatever, you can go find a stick or some stick. But yeah, I think that that whole airing down your tires thing seems to be more and more important the more I'm in this world.
Yeah, it's pretty vital.
I'm gonna do a product shout out, because I don't know how I got a hold of this. I think it came from Camille. Again, he's gonna pop up again. Wow. But this thing, he sent it to me. It's got like a digital gauge, so like you can set the PSI you want the tire to, and it'll work till it's at the right PSI, and then it shuts off.
Yep.
So it's like and built-in vacuum, which is kind of nuts.
It's convenient.
But I will say, like, I don't know, like, the ratings on them. It has worked faster than all those old air compressors that I had. And it's slim enough that it fits under the cargo compartment in the back of the Sequoia. Nice. So it's always in the Sequoia, unless you blow a tire so severely that it won't hold air, which
that's fantastic.
I did like a month ago.
And you can vacuum out your rooftop tent after you drag a bunch of dirt up there.
True. And with kids around me always, that's a guarantee.
Wait, kids are dirty?
Yeah. Like, really? All the time.
Oh, fuck.
The amount of like stuff that we've purchased to try to keep them less dirty.
Bubble wrap.
Well, no, it's like rugs and like those, like when you're with snows around, you have those like hard plastic things you keep by the door to put their shoes, like just random crap all the time of just trying to keep them clean.
Also good for off-roading equipment.
Yeah, it's handy to have around. Oh, okay. So like GTF Overland, you guys basically have everything?
No.
Those things?
We have stuff. We have
stuff. You have some stuff?
We have some cool stuff. Yeah.
So get the fuck out and get stuff.
Yeah. No, I think what we have some unique brands.
The fucking stuff.
You do have brands I hadn't seen before, which I was like, oh wait, I have something else to research now.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I try really hard to do is bring in product that people aren't going to see at REI and 4-Wheel Parts. In fact, if you're looking at the website Hardcore Lighting, the fellow that brought that to the US is actually a partner in this business. His name is Marty. He's Australian. I'm not gonna kill you guys with my Australian accent.
Butcher it.
Yeah.
Considering we've had at least 4 actual Australians on the show, like,
Right? Last week included.
Yeah, it was just, last week was Dan Gregg.
So we import and distribute that brand of lighting.
Cool.
Mostly camp lighting from Australia. So that's our own, house brand at this point.
Very cool.
And we do Kovia stoves, a South Korean brand that we were talking earlier about the way people move around products and such. And Kovia does a really good job of the design work. If you think of like Snow Peak, but that normal people can afford. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that, again, I don't need to compete with REI. So finding this stuff that people haven't seen, haven't been exposed to is part of, what
it's so
what
tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's adorable.
It is. And I love the color scheme on it too.
Right? Like, so retro.
What? Okay, this brand. How do you pronounce that?
It doesn't matter. Darsh.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with. I'm from the Midwest, so I'm just gonna call it Dart.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Everything. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
There's a Twitter account that does like Midwest isms, and today's was like 30 and no wind is actually warm, and I was like, fuck, that's true.
Oh wow.
As long as there's no wind.
People don't have to live there. I hope everybody knows that.
That's what I tell Ross all the time.
Both of us are saying the same thing.
But I like it here. I'm only 9 hours from the mountains, Ross.
Ugh, don't remind me.
But yeah, that way you have up on your screen another Australian brand. They make, I mean, they're a premium brand. They're like, you look at that 270 awning, it's well north of $1,000. But
yeah, but like you
extremely,
can make a fort out of it.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, that's cool.
It's like in a condo while you're camping. Yeah.
Plus the RTT off the far side. Like if you get an annex room on that, like
yeah, you could say I'm going upstairs, and people would be like, "Oh yeah, he's going upstairs." Yeah, totally.
Right.
We haven't had a cell signal in 4 days. Where you? Oh no, he is going upstairs. There is something about a 270 awning though. Like I don't know what it is. I like them a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's like it's when you want to set up camp and stay there for a bit. When you're not done catching fish, or you're not done staring at the water or whatever. It'd be so cool to have one of those and just hang out and not do anything.
And
that's pretty cool.
I feel like the 270 ones would be able to handle weather a little better, just because it's not 2 poles on the end of like an 8-foot square kind of thing. Like they can, I don't know.
And you stake these down. I mean, they come with, I don't know, probably half a dozen guy wires to actually stake them down, to withstand the elements. I mean, again, this is all stuff developed in Australia, and
they have some elements.
Yeah. Yeah, they have, everything can kill you in Australia. Like the wind can kill you. Right.
Blowing scorpions at you.
Right. Yeah, the wind
is blowing redback spiders onto you. Like that's
No.
What's up, New Zealand? Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, for real. Oh man.
I love that you stay with the Australian terms. Like it's a swag. It's not a pup tag. Like it's
yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence about those. What do you guys think about swags?
I'm okay with it, but most of the time when I go, I've got multiple kids, so I've got a marmot.
What if you had one just for your kids?
Like for one kid at a time? Like
no,
that's your tent?
Like, oh, maybe. I don't know how much money you got.
That's yours.
Not enough. The idea of a kid tent is appealing.
Right.
Once they're asleep. The issue with the kid tent is pre-sleeping. And then it becomes like we have 3 boys and a little girl, so then it becomes like a frat house until they actually fall asleep. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're split in the shop here. Like I said, I'm on the fence. One of the guys here in the shop loves them. He's already ordered one. He's super excited to get it. Yeah, I don't think I think I really want to like try one and see. Like I do get it. I understand like the idea of just rolling it out because it's got a built-in mattress inside it, right? So you just roll that out and you're done.
Right. It's like cheating.
I had a buddy, we got it over a year and a half ago now. We went on a just short trip around locally, and he pulled one out that was like, it was like a swag, but it was on top of a cot.
Yeah.
Like the cot, and then but it got kind of cold that night.
Oh.
And I was like, how'd that work? And he's like, not as good as I hope, because he didn't have enough insulation underneath him. So he ended up getting fairly cold where I slept in the Land Cruiser. So I was fine. Like it was mummy bag in the Land Cruiser. That was great. But yeah, I like the idea of being elevated, but also you have to make sure you're insulated. So
yeah.
Right. Yeah, which is one of the problems with the rooftop tents in general, right? Like you've got a whole layer of cold air underneath you. Yeah.
I like the idea of the adventure trailer.
Right.
I want to be able to go back to my mobile home that I'm just happening to tow.
Leave all your stuff there.
Would
go
you
on the
guys
trail,
have some experience with adventure trailers?
Yeah, we used to have an AT Overland. Yeah, there you go. The Chaser trailer. And that thing was fantastic. It's super impractical if you have a tiny LA garage, which we did at the time, and that was pre-opening this store. But using it was awesome, like because it'll go anywhere. We could just roll down to Lake Powell, drop the trailer, set up camp, know that nobody's going to come snake our campsite, right? Because our trailer's there. And then we could take the truck and go, explore or whatever, and then come back to a campsite that's already set up. So,
and this is going to be a dumb question. With the trailer and you like drop the spot, I'm assuming just like lock off the hitch?
Yeah, totally. Well, AT Overland does something really smart where you can actually just remove the hitch.
Oh, like from the trailer itself.
Correct. Yep. So you just take it out, throw it in the bed of your pickup, and unless somebody has that particular mount, they're not going to steal your trailer.
They drove a long way into the middle of the nowhere to hoping to happen on an ATO trailer with a specific hitch.
That's very clever. Never occurred to me, but that's pretty good.
Well, that's like part of my anxiety with the trailer is like, if I do want to leave it, I like the idea of leaving it exactly for that purpose, but I also don't want to come back and be like, where'd the trailer go?
Right. Yeah, that would be a bummer.
Be a bit of a problem. I mean, theoretically you would have it insured, but even so.
Right.
Yeah. It's Ross, I'm currently traveling with 4 children at all times. So there's insurance issues are my main concern. It's gonna be, where am I going to put them?
As we're sleeping in the truck. But Dad,
we've done it before.
I believe it.
Long car trips, they sleep. I drive.
And that talking about the automotive industry, that world of trailers is, I mean, those guys can't keep up right now. I mean, and all of those trailer manufacturers are just in the weeds.
Buried. Yeah.
I went and looked at one physically in person the other day, talked to a salesman. If it had been a car lot, that guy would have berated me for like another 2 weeks to say like, hey, are you going to come back and buy this thing? I'm 100% certain that trailer was gone the next day.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
It's just,
I don't doubt it for a second.
But like all of those RV centers are still full of trailers right now.
Yeah.
Which I think there was just so much inventory backlog from like people who decided they wanted it and then couldn't pay it. So they just like got out of it.
Maybe.
I don't, it's a model I don't quite understand, because I feel like everywhere I travel in the US, if you go by an RV dealership, they're full.
Always. Yeah.
Like like every now and then you go by a car lot and you're like, all right, you could tell they're like doing model changeover kind of stuff. Like never an RV center. They're always full.
Sure. That's
and
true.
on back order.
How much land that takes up? Like,
Yes.
it's a weird industry for sure. That is.
It's acreage.
Yeah.
And in California, that's not cheap.
No. God, no.
That's why there's like 1,700 RV centers within like a 500-mile radius of me.
What a world.
Sweet. Thank you so much for coming on, Curt.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks for joining.
So we can, not just us, but everybody can find you Instagram, Facebook. It's at GTFOverland.
Correct.
And then you guys also have a YouTube channel.
In a way. Yeah.
In a way, it has videos on it,
Yeah,
and you have a
it
link on
exists.
the website.
Yeah. It
It's
does
there.
exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put your company on the second largest search engine in the world. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Now keep it up, steady. No, sorry.
Mhm.
We talk about the marketing plan later. Sorry.
Yeah. All of those outlets at GTF Overland, and obviously our retail shop is in Long Beach. Yeah. So if anybody,
Come visit you when all of
Yep.
stay-home orders are lifted.
absolutely come visit me now. Just wear your damn mask.
It's not much to ask.
It's not. It really isn't.
It is the smallest ask, the smallest
Mhm.
inconvenience. Just put some cloth across your face.
And-
Please do that.
We're poor. We don't have health insurance. So wear your damn mask.
Wear your mask if you're going to GT
Yes.
Overland, please, for their sake.
Yeah,
Protect the
if you
people
want
that help you.
Right.
You can read what Ross and I write on Hooniverse.com, the Hooniverse on Twitter, the real Hooniverse on Instagram. I wrote some stuff. I come to find out, and I think I talked about this on the last show. I wrote an article about do-it-yourself electric vehicles. Holy crap, they are not cheap. Like upper 20s. Unless you go by like a used forklift engine or motor. Oh my God. I almost called it an engine. Motor.
Not a
cheap.
good idea.
Not a
Don't
good
do
idea.
that. Don't do that.
Follow Ross on Instagram at no not like the one from Friends.
Yep.
I have to read it every time.
Mhm.
Never gonna change it.
I know.
I'm at Overlanding Dad, and that's our show.
Yeah.
We've done it.
It's 2021. Today's happy birthday to us. We recorded our first show a year ago today.
Is that really true?
Yeah,
We didn't record till January last year.
I think so.
I'm gonna take your word for it because I didn't write it down. So
So happy
Important
birthday to
dates.
us.
important dates.
hmm
I've upgraded. I'm not in the closet anymore. That can be taken so many
Yes.
ways.
Careful.
For Curtis's information, I recorded in my closet because my kids were running around everywhere for the first couple of shows. And
Just so you
also-
don't close the show and Curtis walks away and goes, what the fuck did he just say?
Well, so now I'm just assuming his kids are in the closet
Ooh.
because it's a trade-off, right?
Well, it's late enough here. They're actually in bed. So-
Has been, I was going to say, it has been
but
concerningly quiet.
something like the reason I also did it was like it's surrounded by like soft material, so like sound wouldn't reflect or whatever. And like I didn't have a very good microphone then. Like I have a better mic now, and so I can actually be out in the open. But then like fairly early on in the pandemic, I was watching a community cast reunion panel, and Dan Harmon, the show creator, was sitting in his closet, and I was like, I don't care anymore. I will like. He made a successful TV show. I'm making a podcast. It's the same
Yeah.
thing.
It's don't have to shoot for the stars to get something going.
I would be very happy with Dan Harmon's level of success. Just so
Yes.
you know.
Quite.
That
quite.
guy's hilarious.
Yes, he is.
Sweet. That's it.
So
Thank you,
on
Curtis.
that note, Curtis,
Thanks,
thank you.
Everybody go visit him, but wear a mask.
Bye.
We'll come visit once we can.
Good.
Yes.